Welcome to Relaxing History. Leave all the noise and the rush of the day outside the door. Now, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let your mind float through the dusty but fascinating pages of history. Tonight, we embark on a peaceful journey among the shadows of the past. If you are ready, let's unlock time. Chapter 1 of 3, The Marble, the Dust, and the Escape from the City. The sun hangs high above the city of Athens. It is the eye of Apollo, unblinking, fierce. It is the height of summer in Attica. The air is not just hot, it is heavy. It presses down on the white rooftops. It presses down on the olive trees. It presses down on the shoulders of the men walking in the streets. The light is blindingly bright. It bounces off the white marble columns of the Parthenon, high up on the Acropolis. The temple glows like a second sun, watching over the city below. Every edge is sharp. Every shadow is deep black. There is no gray in this world. Only the brilliant white of the stone and the deep blue of the sky. We are standing in the Agora, the beating heart of the city. The marketplace is crowded. Even in this heat, the business of Athens goes on. The air is filled with 1,000 noises. They mix together into a constant, low hum, like the sound of a giant beehive. You can hear the merchants shouting the prices of fish brought up from the port of Piraeus. You can hear the potters banging their clay wares. Clink, clink. You can hear the heavy wheels of ox carts grinding against the stone pavement. Rumble, crunch. And above it all, the voices of men, arguing, debating, laughing, philosophy and politics mixing with the smell of garlic and sweat. In the middle of this swirling ocean of noise stands one man. He is motionless, like a rock in a rushing river. He is Socrates. He is 70 years old now, a solid, sturdy figure. Not tall, but built like a stonemason. His face is familiar to everyone in the city. The broad forehead, the snub nose, the wide, frog-like eyes that seem to see everything at once. He is not beautiful like a statue. He is real. He is made of earth. He stands in the shadow of the stoa of Zeus, leaning against a cool stone pillar. He has been talking for hours, asking questions, unraveling knots in the minds of the young men. What is virtue? What is justice? But now, his voice is tired. His throat feels dry and scratchy, like old parchment. The words feel heavy in his mouth. He looks out at the crowd. The constant motion makes him dizzy. The heat radiating from the ground is intense. He feels a sudden, deep longing, a hunger not for food, but for silence. He wants to stop thinking. He wants to stop speaking. He wants to listen to something that does not argue back. Socrates pushes himself away from the pillar. He adjusts his cloak. He wears the same garment every day, winter and summer. The tribon. It is a simple, rough piece of woven wool, faded to a soft gray color. is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than. It is old, but it is comfortable. It hangs loosely on his body, allowing the air to circulate. He feels the coarse texture of the wool against his neck. It is a familiar, grounding sensation. He looks down at his feet. They are bare. They are always bare. Socrates does not own sandals. He does not believe in separating himself from the earth. His feet are broad and strong. The soles are thick with calluses, tough like leather. He wiggles his toes against the smooth, hot paving stones of the Agora. He can feel the heat of the sun stored in the rock. It travels up through his soles, into his ankles, into his calves. It is an intense sensation, but not painful. It makes him feel alive. He begins to walk. He does not walk fast. He has nowhere to be. He walks with a distinct, rolling gait. Step. Step. He threads his way through the crowd. He passes the fishmongers. The smell of the salty sea and raw fish is strong here. He passes the perfume sellers. A sudden cloud of rose oil and iris root drifts by, sweet and heavy. He passes the money changers. The sound of silver drachmas clinking on wood. Ching, ching. He leaves it all behind. He walks towards the edge of the square, towards the Panathenaic Way, the great road that leads out of the city. As he walks away from the center, the crowd begins to thin out. The shouting voices become distant, fading into a background murmur. The buildings become smaller. The great marble temples give way to simple houses made of sun-dried mud brick. The shadows of the houses are long and inviting. Socrates walks in the shade whenever he can, enjoying the brief moments of coolness. He reaches the city gates, the Diomaean Gate. The thick stone walls of Athens loom above him, protective, massive. He passes through the archway, and suddenly, the world changes. He steps out of the city and into the country. The noise of the market is cut off, replaced by the sound of the wind. The ground under his feet changes too. Inside the city, the ground was hard-packed earth and stone, unforgiving. Here, outside the walls, the road is softer. It is covered in a layer of fine, dry dust. Poof, poof. With every step, a tiny cloud of golden dust rises around his ankles. The dust is warm, soft like flour. It coats his feet. It coats the hem of his robe. He likes the feeling. It feels natural, primitive. He walks along the path that follows the city wall. To his right, the dry fields of Attica stretch out. Golden brown grass, burnt by the summer sun. He sees an olive tree standing alone in a field. Its trunk is twisted and gnarled, ancient. Its leaves are silver green, shimmering in the heat. He hears the sound of the cicadas. Zzz, zzz. It is the song of the summer, a constant, rhythmic vibration. It is not a noise that disturbs the mind. It is a noise that empties the mind. It is a wall of sound that blocks out thoughts. Socrates keeps walking. His destination is the river, the Ilisos. It is not a mighty river like the Nile. It is a humble stream. But in the heat of July, it is the most precious thing in the world. He can sense the water before he sees it. The air begins to change. The dry, dusty smell of the road is replaced by something greener. The smell of damp earth. The smell of mint. The smell of crushed oregano growing wild on the banks. The temperature drops, just a little bit at first, then more. He approaches the riverbank. The ground here is different again. It is not dusty. It is grassy. Thick, lush grass grows near the water, fed by the moisture of the stream. Socrates steps off the road. He steps onto the grass. Swish, swish. The blades of grass are cool against his hot skin. They brush against his ankles. Gentle, welcoming. His feet sink slightly into the soft soil. It is a relief, a deep, physical relief. He looks ahead, and he sees it. The tree, the great plane tree, the platanus. It is a giant, a king among trees. Its trunk is massive, so wide that 3 men holding hands could not circle it. The bark is beautiful, peeling away in patches of cream, gray, and pale brown, like a puzzle made of wood. And the branches, they are like arms spreading out to embrace the sky. They are covered in broad, green leaves, thousands of them. They create a canopy, a roof of living green. Under the tree, there is a large circle of deep, dark shade. Socrates walks towards the shade. He feels drawn to it, like a moth drawn to a lamp, but in reverse. He is drawn to the darkness. He walks slowly through the tall grass. He can hear the water now. Burble, splash, trickle. It is a gentle sound. The water flowing over smooth stones. Clear, clean. It whispers to him, "Come here. Sit down. Let go." He reaches the edge of the shade. He stops for a moment, standing on the boundary between the blinding sun and the cool shadow. He takes a deep breath, filling his lungs with the scent of the river. It smells of life. It smells of rest. He steps forward, into the shadow. The sun is gone. Is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than. The heat is gone. He is safe. He is hidden. He walks to the base of the giant tree. He looks at the roots. They rise out of the ground like the knees of an old giant, covered in soft green moss. He looks at the river flowing just a few feet away. The water is shallow and transparent. He can see the pebbles on the bottom, white, gray, and terracotta. The sunlight filters through the leaves above, creating a pattern of dappled light on the grass. Dancing spots of gold on the green floor. Flicker. Dance. Flicker. Socrates sighs, a long, heavy sigh. He lets his shoulders drop. He unclasps his hands from behind his back. The tension of the city, the tension of the arguments, the tension of the logic. It all flows out of him, draining down into the ground. He is no longer the philosopher. He is no longer the teacher. He is just a man, standing under a tree, by a river, alone with the cicadas. He is ready to sit. He is ready to rest. The earth is waiting for him. Chapter 2 of 3. The river's touch and the song of the cicadas. Socrates stands in the deep shade of the plane tree. The transition is complete. Above him, the sun is still blazing. It is beating down on the fields of Attica with a white-hot fury. But down here, under the canopy of green leaves, it is a different world. It is twilight in the middle of the day. The light is soft, filtered, green. It feels like being inside a great, natural temple. The trunk of the tree is the column, the branches are the roof, and the grass is the floor. He looks at the ground at the base of the tree. The roots of the platanus are massive, thick, twisting snakes of wood that dive in and out of the earth. Over the decades, the river has washed away some of the soil, exposing the wood. And in the spaces between the roots, soft, velvet moss has grown. Deep green, thick, moist. It looks more comfortable than any chair in the Agora. It looks more inviting than the marble benches of the rich. Socrates moves slowly. He lowers his sturdy body down towards the earth. Bend, lower. His knees creak softly. They are old joints, tired from standing on stone all day. He places one hand on the trunk of the tree to steady himself. The bark is cool and smooth under his palm, like polished bone. He sits down, settle, sigh. He lands on the grassy bank. The earth receives him. It is not hard, it is giving. Softened by the proximity to the water, he scoots backward until his back is resting against the massive trunk. He adjusts his position, finding the perfect hollow between two great roots. It fits him perfectly, as if the tree grew this way just for him. He leans his head back against the wood. He lets his heavy woolen cloak fall open slightly. The air circulates around him. A gentle breeze blows from the river, touching his neck, touching his chest. It dries the sweat on his skin, leaving him feeling cool and light. Now, he looks at his feet. His poor, tough feet. They have walked miles today, across the burning stones of the market, through the hot dust of the road. They are covered in a layer of fine, gray dust. They are throbbing with heat. He is sitting right at the edge of the bank. The water of the Ilisos river is flowing just inches away, clear, fast, sparking. He slides forward just a little bit. He extends his legs. He lowers his feet towards the water. Closer, closer. His heels touch the surface. Splash. The sensation is instant and shocking. The water is cold, delightfully, achingly cold. It comes from the high springs of Mount Hymettus. It carries the chill of the underground rocks. Socrates gasps softly. Ah, it is a good shock. He pushes his feet deeper, submerging them completely, up to the ankles. The current rushes over his skin. Swish, rush. He watches the water swirling around his toes. The clear water turns slightly cloudy for a moment as it washes away the dust of the city. He watches the gray cloud of dirt drifting away downstream, carrying away the Agora, carrying away the arguments, carrying away the heat, leaving his skin clean and cool. He wiggles his toes in the current. He can feel the smooth pebbles on the riverbed, round and slippery. He presses his soles against them. A gentle massage, the throbbing heat in his feet begins to fade, replaced by a numbness, a heavy, peaceful numbness. The cold blood travels up his legs, cooling his whole body from the bottom up. He keeps his feet in the water, anchoring him to the river. He rests his hands on his lap, palms open. He closes his eyes, and now he listens. The air is filled with a sound so constant, so loud, that you almost forget it is there. The cicadas, the tetages, thousands of them, hiding in the branches of the plane tree, hiding in the olive trees nearby. They are the choir of the summer. Zzz, 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 zzz. It is a drone, a vibration. It rises and falls in waves, like the breathing of the heat itself. One group starts, high and shrill. Then another group answers, lower and deeper. It creates a wall of sound, white noise. Socrates loves this sound. To him, the cicadas are wise. Myth says they were once men who loved music so much they forgot to eat and drink until they died and became insects. Now, they sing forever. They do not worry. They do not work. They just are. Socrates lets the sound wash over him. It is loud enough to drown out his own thoughts. Usually, his mind is a busy place, full of questions. Why? How? What is the definition? His demon, his inner voice, is always whispering to him. But here, under the tree, the cicadas are louder than the daemon. Zzz. He tries to think about justice, but the thought dissolves in the heat. He tries to think about virtue, but the word floats away down the river. He smiles. This is the true wisdom, to know nothing, to stop trying to define the world, and just feel it. I know that I am sitting, he thinks. I know that the water is cold. I know that the grass is soft. That is enough. For now, that is everything. He leans deeper into the roots of the tree. The rough bark massages his back. He watches the sunlight filtering through the leaves above. The komorebi, tiny beams of light dancing on his eyelids. Green, gold, green, gold. It is hypnotic. His breathing slows down, matching the flow of the river. In, rush, out, flow. The air smells sweet. The scent of the drying grass is stronger now, mixed with the damp, earthy smell of the riverbank. It is a heavy, drowsy smell. He feels his body getting heavier. The stonemason's muscles in his shoulders relax, dropping down. The tension in his jaw releases. His hands, which are always gesturing and moving when he speaks, are now still, like two stones resting on his knees. The cicadas sing on. Tss. They are singing a lullaby for the philosopher. Rest, Socrates, they say. The city can wait. The questions can wait. The truth is here. In the shade, in the water, in the sleep. He is suspended in the perfect afternoon, between the earth and the tree, between the heat and the cold, between waking and dreaming. He is ready to let go. He is ready to be empty. Chapter 3 of 3. The woolen tent and the wisdom of rest. Socrates sits motionless by the water. The cold shock of the river has done its work. The heat is gone from his blood. Slowly, reluctantly, he begins to withdraw his feet from the stream. He lifts his left foot. Water cascades off his heel. Drip, drip, splash. He lifts his right foot, breaking the surface. He extends his legs out onto the grass. He does not have a towel. He does not need one. The warm summer air acts as a cloth. He watches the droplets of water on his skin. They glisten like diamonds in the dappled sunlight. Then, slowly, they evaporate, leaving his skin cool, dry, and refreshed. He leans forward slightly to brush a stray leaf from his ankle. His hand touches his own skin. It feels different now. Before, it was hot and dusty. Now, it is cool and clean. He feels a deep sense of purification. The ritual of the river is complete. Now, the earth calls to him. He looks at the patch of ground between the roots of the plane tree. It is a natural cradle. The roots rise up on either side like the arms of a chair, and in the middle, the moss is thick, deep, springy. It has taken 10 years for the moss to grow this thick. Preparing for this exact moment, Socrates shifts his weight. He turns his body. He lowers his shoulder towards the ground. Slowly, slowly. There is no rush. The sun will not move. The river will not stop. His shoulder meets the moss. It is soft, softer than he expected. But beneath the softness, there is the solid firmness of the ground. It is the shoulder of Gaia, the Earth Mother, supporting him. He swings his legs up onto the bank. He rolls onto his back. Rustle, settle. He lies flat. His broad back sinks into the green cushion. He stretches out his legs, letting them fall open naturally. He stretches out his arms, letting his hands rest on the grass. He feels the blades of grass tickling his palms. He feels the coolness of the soil seeping through his tunic. He looks up one last time. The canopy of the plane tree is high above him. Layers and layers of translucent green leaves. The sunlight tries to push through, but it is tamed. It is gentle. He watches a single leaf drifting down from a high branch. It floats on the air. Sway, sway, turning over and over, until it lands softly on his chest. He does not brush it away. He accepts it, a gift from the tree. But even the green light is too bright for sleep, and the flies are buzzing near the water. Socrates knows what to do. It is the habit of the shepherd, the habit of the soldier. He reaches for the edge of his cloak, his tribun, the heavy, gray wool that is gathered under him. He finds the hem. His fingers grip the rough fabric. He lifts it up, and slowly, deliberately, he pulls it over his head. Swish. The world disappears. Under the cloak, everything changes. The bright green light of the afternoon turns into a warm, dim, amber glow. The fabric filters the sun. turning it into the color of honey or the color of old parchment. It is a private sunset. The sounds of the world change too. Before, the cicadas were loud, a wall of noise. Now, under the wool, they are muffled. They sound distant, like a memory of a sound. The sound of the river is softer too, a gentle murmur. But there is a new sound, the sound of his own body. In the small, enclosed space of the cloak, he can hear his own breath. Ha, hu. It is a rhythmic sound, like the tides of the ocean. He breathes in the scent of the wool. It smells of sheep. It smells of the sun. It smells of himself. It is a comforting, primitive smell. It makes him feel safe, like a child hiding in a tent. He is no longer in Athens. He is no longer in Greece. He is in a tiny, warm cave of his own making. The cloak separates him from the polis. Outside, people are arguing about laws. Outside, people are selling olive oil. Inside the cloak, there are no laws. There is no money. There is only warmth and breath. He feels his eyelids growing heavy. Even in the dim light of the cloak, he closes his eyes. Now, there is only darkness, velvet. He is to eye, Elema. In day, with ask of eyes, warm, absolute. He feels the weight of the wool resting on his forehead, resting on his nose. It is a gentle pressure, deep pressure. It signals to his nervous system that he is safe, that he is hidden. He relaxes his face. He lets his jaw drop slightly. He lets his tongue rest on the floor of his mouth. He smooths the furrow between his eyebrows. The thinking muscle is finally at rest. He thinks about the concept of the void. To sleep is to practice being nothing, he thinks. And for a philosopher, being nothing is the ultimate freedom. He is not Socrates anymore. He is just a breathing object, a stone that breathes, a tree that breathes. The heat of the day lingers in the wool, keeping him warm. The cool of the earth lingers in the moss, keeping him grounded. He is suspended between them. His thoughts become slow, like heavy drops of honey. Virtue, drift. Truth, drift. Beauty, drift. Drift. The words lose their meaning. They are just sounds, and then they are silence. The river flows on. The cicadas sing on. The sun moves across the sky. But the man under the cloak does not move. He has found the answer to the greatest question. The answer is peace, drifting under the wool, into the amber light, into the silence. Sleep.